Hey everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wrestling Doesn't Make Sense. It's the show where wrestling doesn't make sense. Another stellar intro. I should start writing these,
Well, I mean, you told everyone what the show is, so what more do you need?
Right, straight to the point, Yeah, we cut the shit on this show. We're straight to the point. Like, this is it, Wrestling doesn't make sense, and here it is. So I guess you want to talk about pro wrestling for a bit?
Yeah, I guess. There's nothing else going on in the world right now, so.
No, we're recording this on a Tuesday night, so I don't think there's anything else going on right now. No. Tuesday nights are pretty sleepy,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna talk about All Elite Wrestling because their show is coming up soon. Is it Sunday?
It is Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
What the heck? What? But fair enough. What's the name of it? High Revolution.
Full Gear.
Full Gear. Well, I was close. High Revolution. Is that anything?
That is definitely nothing.
High Revolution. I'm gonna steal that and use that in my show with Corey. He's gonna look forward to that. So All Elite Wrestling are doing the show. Before we get on to that, we want to talk about a little bit of news. Kylie Ray is announced her retirement from wrestling at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a dang shame because she's adorable.
Yes, very much so. She's
really good. She's got a great character. But sometimes you gotta kind of take a break and recharge. Re-heal.
Mm-hmm.
We get it. That's totally fine. So I think we would both say to Kylie Ray to have a speedy recovery. We would love to see you back in the wrestling ring soon, but do take all the time you need.
Absolutely, yeah. It sounds like she needed this kind of break from the business, and maybe it's a permanent break, maybe it's not, but either way, like her sort of well-being is what's most important. So take as much time as she needs, I guess.
Hells yeah, dude. Take as much time as you need. I assume she's listening to the show.
Of course, yeah. We were followed by Thunder Rosa on Twitter the other week, so.
Oh, dude, Thunder Rosa, if you're listening, can you tell Kylie Ray that we wish her the best? We hope she's doing okay. Also, hi, Thunder Rosa, how you doing? Do you think she listens to the show or she just follows us on Twitter?
I think she's definitely one of our 7 listeners.
So, wow, we went up to 7. We doubled our viewership. Yeah, work that one out. So good luck to Kylie Ray. Hopefully everything works out. I'd love to see you back in the ring again. Speaking of All Elite Wrestling, Kylie Ray was she contracted?
Yeah, she was, I think, one of the first women contracted for AEW.
Nice. And then things just didn't work out then.
Yeah,
which is fine. The things happen. All Elite Wrestling has their new show this Saturday, as we've covered. It's called High Revolution. It's definitely what it's called. I came up with the name. They owe me royalty rights for that. So, I'm going to make them pay through the nose. Fucking Tony Khan's got all that money. I want some of it. That dirty, dirty money. That dirty football money. I'm not implying that he's in some kind of shitty business. I'm not saying Tony Khan is in the mafia. Wink.
We're still getting sued.
Yeah. Now Tony Khan's gonna take my money.
Yeah.
This hasn't worked out the way I wanted to at all. Well, my money's all dirty from the mafia anyway, so we can have it. It's a good way to launder it. So you have the match card.
Yep.
How many matches are on this show?
There's 8, including a pre-show match.
What's the pre-show match?
That is Orange Cassidy versus John Silver of the Dark Order.
Why?
That's a good question. Well, Orange Cassidy obviously came out of that feud with Jericho victorious, and Then he kind of got involved in the TNT title scene as well. So I believe he had a match against Brody Lee when he was still champion and lost. And then since then, he's had a couple of shots against Cody as well, where the first one went to a time limit draw, and then the second one pretty much ended because the Dark Order interfered and I believe cost him the match. So that is essentially the build to this one.
Oh, so the Dark Order are going after Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, it seems that way. And
Why?
it seems like, well, I think the idea here is similar to how Jericho helped elevate Orange Cassidy with their feud, or at least that was the intention. Like
Right.
Orange Cassidy is now given the rub to this John Silver guy who's
What? He hasn't got a rub yet. That's ridiculous.
well, yeah, but you know, this is the mindset, I guess.
Right. I get that. But like, why would the Dark in storyline? Why would the Dark Order want to go after Orange Cassidy?
Because he got the TNT title shot that Brody Lee wanted. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here.
So so they don't know.
No, I'm
Okay.
guessing there's no real storyline.
I
Or
mean-
if there is, it's probably on being the elite or dark or whatever it is, which
That shit-
nobody watches.
that shit doesn't count.
Yeah,
It's not fair to it really isn't fair to go announcing that shit on like those rinky-dink shows. 'Cause
exactly.
That does not count. So I think that's part of what annoyed me about watching their TV show is that after a while I'm like, why is any of this, like, what is happening? And I'm like, if they are just announcing stuff on their other shows and not telling me about it, that's really annoying. Again, people criticize the WWE for having too many replays, right?
Yeah.
But at least you know what the fuck's going on. It's annoying by the end of it. You're like, all right, I get it. But at least you know what's going on, right? I have no idea what's ever going on All Elite Wrestling. And it's kind of infuriating. But anyway, that's okay. That's the pre-show match. Doesn't matter.
Yes.
I mean, last month on the pre-show, there was Joey Janela versus Serpentico.
Okay.
I talked about this because I couldn't remember who the other guy was. I remember Joey Janela was against somebody, and it was really shitty, right? That guy is Serpentico, who apparently has been signed by All Elite Wrestling and is on their TV show more now.
Kind of. He's teamed with Luther for Jericho's 30-year anniversary, but that's been about it, really.
What? Right? Like, what the fuck? Why? Whatever. That guy is not so good. Serpentico.
Yeah, neither's Luther either. So.
Good God. So stick him in the main event of your show, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
And then after that, after they've been given, quote unquote, the rub, that prestigious, because that is a prestigious thing to be the main event of the show.
Yeah, and have that 30-year anniversary match with Jericho as well.
Chris Jericho, right? Big fucking deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Where are they now?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Who fucking knows? Right? All right. I mean, that's the pre-show. So, okay, match, but that's okay. That match in the pre-show, whatever, is what it is. Let's see, what else do we got? Let's start at the bottom.
So we've got Chris Jericho versus MJF. And if MJF wins, then he's allowed to join the Inner Circle.
There's something that really annoys me about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the song and dance. However, it did annoy me. Let me just say this. I heard people say that way back in the day, WWE did a thing with Steve Austin and The Rock where they were singing to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, you see, you can't criticize All Elite Wrestling for doing this shit whenever the WWE did it. And you're like, yes, you can. And let me explain to you why. Number one, when did that happen? Like 2002 or 2003?
I guess so, yeah, a long time ago.
Right. It was a long time ago. But also, we can both agree, the heyday of both their careers in ring.
Yeah.
That wasn't like 1999, 2000 Rock or Austin. There's a big difference. We can both agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Big difference between The Rock in 2002 and The Rock in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
He was on his way out. So was Austin. If they want to take 10 minutes out of their lives to just stick around and sing songs, they've earned it. It was a dumb thing, but also it wasn't leading to anything serious because, like I said, both of those guys were on their way out anyway, right?
Yeah.
Second of all Wrestling isn't supposed to be rehashing dumb old shit that WWE does.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just because the WWE did it, fucking great. All Elite Wrestling is supposed to be an alternative. It's supposed to be different. It's supposed to be sports-based wrestling. It's not supposed to be the same old fucking garbage.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I'm pissed at. I'm not just pissed at All Elite Wrestling. I'm pissed at both companies, but I expect this shit from the WWE because they've been giving us this shit for years, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird for All Elite Wrestling to come along and be like, we're different, and just exactly the same, only faster.
Yep.
Strange, right? But anyway, so the thing that annoys me about this storyline, why would MJF want to be part of the Inner Circle?
Well, I think the way he sort of explained it weeks and weeks ago was that he's kind of seen the lay of the land in AEW and like how people are in groups now or buddying up, and he was like, well, maybe I should have someone more than Wardlow like watching my back, and if he's going to join anyone, why not the Inner Circle, since they've historically been the main players in AEW since it started. So yeah.
Can I already offer a counterpoint to that?
Yeah, please do.
By the time, so MJF sat back for not almost a year and watched the Elite being really, really big, and then once, not the Elite, what do you call them, the Inner Circle?
Yes.
Well, it's the CM fucking shit, really. What's the difference? But he saw the Inner Circle being a kick-ass group, Jericho with a title, right, for months. And then Jericho lost the title. They lost the Stadium Stampede match. Jericho lost to Orange Cassidy. Sammy Guevara lost to Matt Hardy a ton of times.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck else has happened with that group? Everything has gone wrong for them.
Santana and Ortiz have lost to the best friends in that parking lot match.
Over a feud, over a fucking minivan.
Yeah.
And now MJF thinks, I want to hitch my wagon to you winners. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck? MJF, he used to be a shining fucking beacon in that show.
Mm-hmm.
Let me also say this. I might have this wrong, so if I have got this wrong, feel free to fucking roast me. Well, wasn't it like not so long ago that MJF was feeding with Moxley? Didn't he cut a promo talking about like how he was different and he wasn't like down with all this like silly shenanigans and stuff? I'm sure. I am so confident that I remember watching a MJF promo where he was like ripping on everybody else for doing like all this silly gimmicky bullshit.
That does sound like something he'd do.
Yeah, and then 2 months later he's doing a song and dance number with Chris Jericho, which sounds to me like gimmicky bullshit.
Absolutely.
But how dare I criticize such a wonderful quality show? All right, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I've not been a fan of the feud at all. Well, I'm not even sure you can call it a feud really, because it's been this weird sort of relationship.
Yeah. They're kind of teasing it, but they don't. It's just like, we'll have a fight. I'm like, why? I don't understand. They did a song and dance number where they said they weren't gonna fight.
Yeah.
That was the point. They said they were friends.
And
that was the entire point of that thing.
It's just the lame humor in it as well, where they're obviously trying really hard to make it funny and stuff, and it's just like it doesn't really work for me. Like the whole thing with the after the Jericho 30th anniversary, where MJF like brings out a clown for some reason. Like, it's not explained. It's not really anything that makes any sense. But then he's like, "Yeah, I brought you a clown," and Jericho's like, "I hate clowns." It's like, oh, okay, well, Was there some sort of setup to this? Any kind of reason why you're doing this? Because like,
Yeah, like what's the punchline to the clown bit, right?
yeah,
Nope,
it's
just
just so
here.
random.
Here's a clown. Like, oh, another classic
And
zinger
then
by
they've
All
done
Elite
all this
Wrestling.
other stuff as well, like the town hall meeting last week and stuff, and it's just boring.
So
Every-
you're saying to me that you don't like weak ass comedy spots in your wrestling program?
well, I mean, I'd prefer not to see him in my weekly wrestling program, but
Yeah, I mean the WWE would do them all the time. It would be good if there was an alternative to WWE that just didn't do all the stuff they do.
mm-hmm,
Wouldn't that be good?
that would be something.
Yeah. Ah, what's the next one?
Okay. It's a match we've never seen before as Hikaru Shida defends the women's title against Nyla Rose.
Were you being silly?
No, technically we've not seen it because this is the first time that Shida's defending the women's title against Nyla Rose. So I was being sneaky.
Yeah, but we've seen it though.
Yeah, but not with Shida defending the title. I'm,
You
I'm
make
gonna,
a good point.
I'm gonna
I feel
stand
so
by that.
silly. You really got me there. I can't argue with logic like that. So we got a first time match right here. I'm very excited about this, of course.
Hmm.
Do they not have any other women?
Apparently not. And
They
the thing
do
is
though.
with
This is bullshit. They totally do.
the thing is with this as well, like they haven't done anything with Nyla Rose since
Mm.
pairing her up with Vicky Guerrero. Like
Yeah, I fucking forgot about that.
they kind of made a big deal of that and
Yeah.
then sort of like hinted that, oh yeah, Nyla is gonna get back into the title picture now that she's got Vicky Guerrero, like, helping her out and stuff. But I don't even remember her having a match on Dynamite like in the last 2 months, really. I think she may have had one squash match and that was it. But like, yeah, she's just basically been in the front row of the crowd, like doing the whole cheerleading stuff that entire time. So why she's getting this title shot, who knows?
Oh, man, that's really annoying whenever like a wrestling company kind of like starts and stops like a storyline and it kind of fizzles out with no explanation. It's not really annoying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I hate it when the WWE do that. But
Mm.
this is a different wrestling company. They're an alternative to the WWE. They wouldn't do something like that. It's crazy, man. Like they have Serena Deeb now,
Yeah.
who he just won the NWA title, and rightly so. I want to say this about the women's division. The most talk it's ever had has been the last couple of months, and that is because of Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa, right?
Yeah,
We can
definitely.
both agree on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two women who at the time were not contracted to All Elite Wrestling made the
Yeah.
biggest buzz and the biggest like waves in the women's division in All Elite Wrestling in 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've had 10 months to work that division. I mean that one really sucks. Like I am really bummed that their women's division hasn't gone anywhere because there's talent there and I want to see it, right? Hikaru Shida, I'm sure is a great wrestler, but you never get to see her do anything other than a random title match for no reason. I want to
Yeah.
see this stuff, like build these people up. Britt Baker had some build, but like, I get that she got injured, but like, I don't feel but like that was the fucking story. There were no other women's stories going on.
Mm-hmm.
It had one thing, and that wasn't good. That Big Swole thing was not good.
But that was bizarre as well because Big Swole picks up the win in that feud, and then
Where the fuck did she go?
yeah, she just wasn't on Dynamite for like a good 2, 3 weeks, and then she randomly got a title shot like after that. But it was, like any momentum that she had, or anything to kind of make her look like a strong challenger, it completely disappeared by that point. So it's baffling.
It's really annoying whenever like companies drop a wrestler's push for no reason.
Mm,
They're giving them a bit of momentum, and then bam, just the rug pulled out from under them. It's really annoying, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
I hate to see it. WWE do that all the time, but All Elite Wrestling is a different company, so Wouldn't expect to see that from them, you know?
Nope, not at all.
This is unbelievable how I'm able to get away with saying that for the last 4 matches. Isn't it? Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just a wrestling thing. Maybe this is, how you're supposed to book. Apparently, it's
Yeah, yeah. You're supposed to like write down the names of the wrestlers and then put them in a car and then drive that car into a wall and then whatever pieces of paper haven't gone on fire, that's the match.
yeah.
I mean that sounds good to me. I hope they can do something better with their women's division. I don't know if they will, but fingers crossed. Hopefully, like if Serena Deeb is in that company now, I hope they do something with her. Me, I would make her a dual champion. I think that'd be cool. All elite wrestling and the NWA champion.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like you mentioned Britt Baker. I'm surprised that she wasn't inserted into this title match, unless they're planning to build to it down the line or whatever. But like, she's clearly like the
She's
biggest.
the one person they booked in the entire fucking division.
Yeah, she's the one who's kind of stood out and actually, grown as a performer like over the last year or so. When she first came in and they tried like establishing her as like the face of the women's division, she kind of faltered really, but then turning heel and bringing in Rebel and stuff, and it's just added to her act and all the skits with Tony Schiavone and all that kind of thing. It's definitely made her seem like a big deal, and she's delivered in the ring as well. I think like when she's since she's come back from her injury, I think she's had like a couple of decent matches on Dynamite and whatnot. So
that's depressing me too, though, because I remember saying to you when we watched that Tooth and Nail match, I remember saying to you, like, why are they doing this? Like, why can't they? Like, I get they want to keep the heat on Britt Baker, but like, she's injured. Like, they're wasting a lot of time with this storyline. It's not going anywhere. And then like she comes back from injury and she's not on the fucking, like, that's bizarre that they spent so much time pushing her when she was injured, and now that she's not injured, she's not on the show.
Yeah.
What? It's not even hard.
I know.
I hope. What's the next match?
Well, you're gonna love this.
No, I'm not gonna love it. When you say that, it's always in a sarcastic manner.
Okay, well, it's the Elite Deletion match between Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara. The feud that will not die.
Neither will Matt Hardy. I'm really sorry for that, but is it too soon?
No, I think that's acceptable.
Well, Matt Hardy won't remember that I said it out. Oh, is that too soon? No. Doesn't matter. I'm not happy with that one.
No, this is got shit show written all over it. Like I can't believe they've gone back to the well with this one. Like they could have easily drawn a line under it after the last match at All Out, and just like said, okay, we tried our best, and this feud kind of died on its ass.
That was their best.
Yeah, well, they can only do so much, but.
Oy.
I mean, Elite Deletion match as well. Like I was hoping that Matt Hardy had dropped all of that bullshit delete stuff, and but no, here we go, back to the well again.
I mean, this sounds terrible.
Yeah.
This really does not sound good. I am not a fan of this. Like, that was the moment when I knew that this company wasn't for me. That Matt Hardy thing. I was just like, no. That was really scary to watch live.
Yeah.
Really scary. And anybody with any sense knew that that guy was hurt. And not only did they fucking restart the match, but they made like the shittiest fucking like, oh, we sent him to the hospital later and he didn't have a concussion. Like, dude, that kind of fucking Twitter press release to try. I'm like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
That guy hit his head off some fucking concrete from a pretty significant drop. What, like 6 feet?
Oh, higher than that.
Scissor Lip was taller than a standard human being.
Yeah.
So he fell pretty hard on the concrete in the back of his head, dude. Awful. And And just the sight of him like trying to stand back up
Yeah.
after he was concussed. Like, come on, man. What are we, idiots? You're gonna tell me that he was maybe he wasn't concussed, but he had something wrong with him.
Yeah, he clearly wasn't right, that's for sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah, not happy with this one. Skip it.
Yeah.
I'm not in, and here's what's annoying. Like, dude, Sammy Guevara seems like a guy with like a lot of potential, right? But they don't seem, but also he's clearly like young and green and reckless, right? This has been abundantly clear. And the problem, or one of the problems with All Elite Wrestling is that they have incredible like veteran talent. They have a lot of people, including Matt Hardy, who should be telling these younger kids, the greener guys, what to do and how to do it, because they're veterans, have been there. The Hardy Boys have been wrestling for 20 years, more than 25 years, right? They know what they're doing. Chris Jericho's been wrestling for 30 years. That fucking guy knows what he's doing. They have Dean Malenko and Arn Anderson backstage, right? They have all these fucking smart dudes to the business. They can teach these younger kids how to slow down and how to be smart with their wrestling and how not to like fuck each other up. And again, you look at the Hardy Boys. They fucked each other up. Like, if you look at everything they've done, it's insane that both Matt and Jeff Hardy are still wrestling today, right? So, like, they should know firsthand, don't do any fucking dumbass reckless stuff that you don't need to do in the middle of a pandemic to an audience of nobody. You know, like that, instead of that being hammered out of people, it's been drilled into them, right? They're like, yeah, go all out. Like, don't. Why? What's the point? I was thinking about this the other day, too. And, well, maybe I'll talk about when we get to the Kenny Omega match. When's that?
I was going to do that one next.
Well, then let's talk about this right now. One thing that I really liked about Kenny Omega was that when he came out with his new entrance, he just like beat up Sonny Kiss like right away, straight away. And he's like, "Look, I did that because I'm great, right?"
Yeah.
Which is great. I fucking love that. And the problem I've had with All Elite Wrestling is that since it began, one of the problems that I've had with All Elite Wrestling is that since it began, we've had these like 20-minute competitive matches with everybody. Everybody's on the same playing field.
Yeah.
But if everybody's on the same playing field, then nobody is good.
Yeah,
because they're all the same, right? It doesn't make any, like, it's bizarre to me that a guy like Joey Janela could go 20 minutes with somebody like Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense because Jericho had been like a really fucking, dominant champion. He should be like knocking people down like that with no problem. You can tell a hierarchy in wrestling. You know who the main event is. You know who the upper mid carder guys are. You know who the mid carder guys are. You know who the jobbers are, right? And I know that people don't like using the term jobber, but I think those people don't understand the actual meaning of that term. They're just like, a jobber is a guy who loses all the time, right? They understand what a jobber is for. Jobber is to make somebody look good.
Yeah.
That's the point. Not everybody can be a star because that's 50-50 booking. And the WWE, yada yada, criticized with yada yada, All Elite Wrestling is a different company. 50-50 booking doesn't work. You need to have somebody who loses, right?
Yeah.
And you also have to have somebody who loses like convincingly, in quick fashion. If every match goes 20 minutes, it doesn't give anybody a rub because then you're just as good as that guy. Like that, I don't know why they don't get this. This is frustrating. It's really frustrating to watch. So like, I really like that angle because I think Sonny Kiss is really good. Well, not really good, but like there is a person who's green, but has a really good look, has is interesting, has charisma, right?
Yeah.
You can do stuff with that guy, but you don't have to do it right now. If Sonny Kiss takes a loss right now, that's no big deal because nobody really knows who he is. We can build that guy.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega is supposedly the greatest wrestler in the world. He's supposedly already built, right? It's what they did with Chris Jericho. They didn't job Chris Jericho out when he came here because he's a big deal. He's supposed to be a big deal, and people knew that when they started watching that show, right?
Yeah.
They don't know that Sonny Kiss is a big deal. That's their job to get him over. Kenny Omega is supposed to be one of the best wrestlers in the world. If you've heard his name, it's usually people say that because of his work in Japan. And then when he came to All Elite Wrestling, he's just another one of the guys.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that he was a big deal because they weren't using him right, and he's going fucking 20 minutes with everybody, which we've already established is a problem. So now we're finally gonna get to see what Kenny Omega is all about, and I'm excited because this is what I want to see. I haven't been super impressed with him up to now, but that's because I don't think that they've let him kind of just be Kenny Omega, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see if he can deliver. I'm really interested to see if he can deliver on that. On the flip side, Hangman Adam Page, like we all knew where this tournament was going to end up.
Yeah, that's my problem with the tournament is it was just a waste of time because it was so obvious it was going to be Omega versus Page at the end of it. It was like, ugh.
Yeah, exactly. But again, though, that's kind of one of the things I liked about it was that when you see some of those brackets, like for example, Kenny Omega versus Sonny Kiss, you're like, I know exactly how that's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't go that way, I'll feel really upset about it.
Yeah.
And that did go the way it should have went. So like when you look at the brackets, yeah, you can kind of see that this is probably where it's going to go. And realistically, I would have just preferred they kind of went that way and he would just did it. But I think that's some better booking for the Page and Omega storyline than has been going on in the last couple of months. That tournament, the fact that they're both kind of coming up against each other, I like that angle. It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's the match which kind of people want to see as well, I guess, which is always a positive. Like obviously they had that big long run as a tag team and whatnot, and they were pretty successful. So yeah, seeing them with these kind of almost new personalities, like you mentioned, Kenny Omega being a lot more cocky and like embracing this reputation as like the best wrestler in the world and stuff, but Hangman Page has been through some shit over the last couple of months as well, what with like sort of falling out with the Young Bucks and stuff, and almost looking like he's doubting himself a little bit, or like feeling bummed out because like he's not really with the elite anymore and all this kind of thing. And like even with Kenny Omega like making it clear that he's got no interest whatsoever of tagging with Hangman Page again, he clearly sees himself as a singles guy. So all of that kind of puts like a chip on Adam Page's shoulder, and yeah, gives him like more motivation going into this match as well. So I think there's the potential not just for the actual wrestling to be really good, but like the actual sort of storytelling as well, like the kind of stuff we've seen with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso like over the last couple of months. Like I think it's got that sort of element going for it as well potentially. So
right, like I feel like this match, out of probably out of all the matches on this show, this one has the most build, right? It's got actual kind of storyline to it, and it makes sense. And what I liked about the tournament was that in a perfect world, you can imagine why Kenny Omega and Hangman Page wouldn't actually want to fight each other. Like I can imagine, Kenny Omega proclaiming himself the greatest, but also not wanting to fight Hangman Page because secretly he's afraid he's not the best, right?
Yeah.
But in a tournament setting like this, when the brackets line up, he'll have no choice but to fight Hangman Page. It's an organic way to get those two guys in the ring. And I like that. I think that's really, really good. So, credit where credit is due. Like I said, I haven't been super psyched about like their run as tag team champions. It was a bit patchy I didn't like the storytelling with their breakup. I thought that was silly. But, it's got the most build out of any of the matches on this show. So like that's what I kind of want. I want that long-term storytelling. And ends in a match that people want to see and makes sense. So I'm not too upset about that. I mean, we all know Kenny Omega's going to win and then beat John Moxley for the title.
Oh, yeah, without any shadow of a doubt.
Okay, just so we're all clear on that. Although you don't know that company. Ooh, you don't know.
I mean, you kind of do, though.
I mean, I think I do, and then they do some other garbage. somebody sends their heavyweight championship into space or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
What's the next match?
Well, from one really well built up match to another, it is the TNT Championship match with Cody defending against Darby Allin.
Has this been really well built up?
No, that was me being sarcastic.
Okay, okay. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh god. Here's the thing, man. Darby Allin, I don't get it.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a Jeff Hardy vibe to him, doesn't he?
Right, and I get that. And I don't like Jeff Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I get the Daredevil thing. I get that people kind of dig that. I understand that. But I don't like. I don't know what it is, man. But there's something about him I don't like. I think a lot of the spots he comes up with are stupid.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the like promo stuff that he's done is also really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I remember watching a show months and months ago, and his promo was like just him in a field, and he had a flamethrower, and he like flamethrowered something.
Yeah.
And that was it. And like, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, I think on last week's Dynamite, it might have been last week's or the week before, but he did like a thing with Steve-O from Jackass.
Oh
where
my god.
He decided to like head to like a big vertical ramp for skateboarding and whatnot, and he put himself in a body bag and then just like rolled off the side of it, and that was it. That was like, yeah, I'm really cool. It's like, not really, mate. You're kind of an idiot.
Stupidest person alive is what you like. But that's like when you do stuff like that. Like, how does that make you look at that guy? Because here's the thing, he's a smaller dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Smaller dude, so he needs to make up for that the way Rey Mysterio did. Rey Mysterio made up for being a little guy by being fucking incredible in the ring, right?
Yeah.
His stuff looked good. It didn't always make sense, but it looked so good that you kind of forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he was very good at chaining that stuff together and making it look fluid, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, it didn't always look good, but for the most part it did, and for the most part it made sense, right? And it's just a risk you run when you do lucha. Sometimes it just isn't gonna look good, but sometimes it really fucking does. And he could get himself over despite being like a smaller dude. Darby Allin, he's not getting himself over by doing this dumb stuff because it doesn't make sense in the confines of wrestling.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares? It's just nonsense. It's silly.
Well, we said that
silly.
We said that about his that spot in the Casino Battle Royal at All Out where
worst fucking.
Yeah, they just like dump him in a body bag and then fill the body bag with thumbtacks and then power bomb him out of the ring onto the stage. It's like,
how fucking stupid is that?
Yeah, it's ridiculously stupid.
Dumb. I'm like, wow, who after they saw that was like, well, that guy's really cool now.
Yeah.
He looks like a fucking idiot, and it was his idea. And that no fucking guy backstage said, "Don't do that. That's a stupid idea." There's like 30 people in that ring, and not one of them could have said, "Don't do that. That's a stupid idea."
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right. I don't know about this whole fucking thing. Cody Rhodes coming back after he dropped the belt to Brody Lee, just to win it back off Brody Lee, just so he could go film some kind of dumb game show on television.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. And now where's Brody Lee?
Yeah, sort of disappeared again.
Do you remember at the last show when they had like the eight-man tag team match between the Dark Order and some bunch of and the fucking Cody Rhodes family without Cody Rhodes, right?
Yeah.
And this was right after the Dark Order beat up Cody Rhodes. It was all dramatic, right? So this is the perfect time for the Dark Order to get some more heat. And they didn't. They lost to the American Family, or whatever they're called. The American Family. The Nightmare Family?
Yeah, that'll do.
Jesus, I don't fucking know, right? So apparently that's a stable now. And so the Dark Order lost. And I said that was stupid. And you said, and I'm not criticizing you at all, because you were trying to look on the bright side of life. And you were like, well, it's probably going to lead to something. Didn't lead to anything.
Not a thing.
Then Cody Rhodes, like, instead of getting more heat, they lost in that match, and then fucking Cody Rhodes came back and beat Brody Lee, so they lost again. And then what happened to Colt Cabana?
Yeah, that whole thing's not really done anything since then as well.
Oh! This is the worst. Why does nobody believe me? Unbelievable. Okay, next match.
Well, okay. The next match is FTR defending the tag team titles against the Young Bucks, who self-imposed put a stipulation on this match where if they lose, they will never challenge for the tag team titles ever again.
Doesn't that make it seem like they're gonna win?
Well, then Cody did this exact same gimmick earlier this
Mm-hmm.
year when he challenged Jericho for the title.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, for one thing, it's like lazy storytelling much. I mean,
Right? You already fucking did this.
yeah,
It
but
like this year.
exactly.
Oh,
But
WWE are always like criticized for pretending that their audience has no awareness and they forget everything. They've got no
mm.
memory. But that's All Elite Wrestling's a totally different company and they wouldn't do that kind of stuff. Oh, unbelievable. Right, this match, the match that everybody wanted to see, the match that has been bungled beyond belief.
Yeah, years in the
Beyond
making.
belief. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Anybody, a moron, could have booked this better. It's just bizarre. I don't want to talk about this one too much. All I'm going to say is that who the fuck, other than the Young Bucks, who are idiots, thought that it was a really good idea to have the Young Bucks be the heels in this match?
Well, they aren't though. This is the thing. They kind of turned them heel and then started making them more edgy and whatnot, and then they basically got healed on by FTR like a couple of weeks ago, and then I think it was Matt Jackson who got his ankle pulmonized and stuff, and it's like yeah, like they've been made like the underdogs, like the weaker team in there. So obviously our sort of sympathies are supposed to be with them, and we're supposed to be behind them, hoping to see them overcome.
But why?
But yeah, exactly. Why? It makes no fucking sense.
Why would we have sympathy? We had sympathy for these guys when FTR first came in.
Yeah.
But then they clearly turned the Young Bucks heel. Like they were doing heelish things. They kicked fucking Tony Schiavone in the face.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad no good guy does that. You go
Exactly.
back and look in the history books, no good guy ever kicked Tony Schiavone in the face. But they were clearly bad guys. They were doing bad stuff. Like, what a dumb move to make them the bad guys in this. Like, all they had to do was just keep them fierce for this thing.
Yeah.
For this thing that everybody wanted to see. All they had to do for this was nothing. They didn't have to do a goddamn thing because this show was already booked. People wanted to see that match.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to do a goddamn thing for it. And unbelievably, they still fucked it up.
Yeah. I mean, this has been years in the making as well. Like going back to, when they were feuding on Twitter when they were in different companies and stuff, and poking fun at each other, and claiming that they were each like the best tag team in wrestling and all this kind of stuff. Like the build was there. They didn't, like you say, they didn't really need to do a whole lot here, but somehow they've kind of got it completely wrong.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's almost like you almost got to give them credit for just because I don't know how they did that.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm no fan of the Young Bucks, so I'm not even like looking forward to this match.
Have you
'Cause I didn't.
seen?
What?
Have you seen they've just released a new Young Bucks T-shirt? Just to go back to what we've talked about before, but yeah, it's another shitty T-shirt where I don't know if you saw there was like a news report about like some of the people that they've the WWF like on a banned list for the Thunderdome, and they've got like a little sort of not a poster, but like a little A4 sheet of paper with like little images of people's heads and saying, this is who. If you see them, like quickly get them off the screen, sort of thing. And there's like a really grainy picture of like, Matt and Nick Jackson, and they've taken these really grainy pictures and put them on a T-shirt, which I think says banned or something like that, or
I fucking wish.
Yeah, it's so cringy, like
I
all
can't
of their
wait.
t-shirts.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna put that in the video, so that people can see that, because we had a great laugh about their last T-shirt,
Yeah.
hanging out with God,
Ugh.
which is stunning. I don't get this, man. I don't get the Young Bucks. I don't get, like, that idea for a T-shirt. It's gonna be dated in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What a bunch of clowns. I don't get this company at all, dude. I don't get them. Right, fuck that. Is the next match the main event?
It is. It's the I Quit match between John Moxley and Eddie Kingston for the AEW World Championship.
Okay. So, like, I like both these guys. I am a big fan of John Moxley. I think he's a great talker. I
Hmm.
think that Eddie Kingston is a great talker, and they're both great brawlers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This is a great idea. It's a great matchup. I dig it. I think
Hmm.
this is smart. It's a good use for Moxley. It's a good use for Kingston. It's interesting, right? But
Yeah.
like we said earlier, Kenny Omega is going to beat John Moxley for that championship.
Yes.
This is a little stopgap on the way there. Like, we can all tell. We can
Hmm.
all see this coming. And it's a damn shame, because I think Eddie Kingston deserves better than what they've given him. This is another sticking point, is that they kept bringing these people in, and they're very happy to champion the fact that they've signed Billy Bob to a contract, yada yada. Woo, we signed this guy. They'll make a big fucking deal about that. Well, why don't they make exactly the same kind of big deal about how they're using those guys week to week? Why
Mm.
don't I hear Tony Khan updating me on Twitter about how well they're using all these big guys every week? Huh? Is it because they're not doing that at all? I think so. I think Eddie Kingston has been signed. He's gonna do some things. They're not gonna know what to do with him, and by January he'll be out of that company.
You reckon?
I think there's a lot of people that they aren't using, and they don't know that they aren't being used because they think they're being used. There's a difference between being on TV and being used.
Mm.
So right now, Eddie Kingston is being used, quite rightly, to maneuver John Moxley into place for a different match. But what is Eddie Kingston going to be used for to advance his own career, right?
Well, they've kind of been using him as well to kind of help, you know, pair him up with the Lucha Brothers. So, because obviously they're not big English speakers, so having Eddie Kingston talk for them, I guess, is supposed to help them out. And I guess I could see him after this match kind of transitioning more into sort of a manager's role for them rather than,
Mm.
you know, still being a main event player or whatever. But
I could
that
see that. I wouldn't mind that too much.
it kind of feels like a waste of Eddie Kingston's talents, though, because like I
Right.
say, he is a really good talker. Yeah, everyone knows that. But I mean, he can go in the ring as well. So
Exactly. Like, it's not like the idea of him managing the Lucha Brothers. I don't hate it. I think it's a great idea, you know.
mm,
However, it is probably a bit too premature for that. Like you said, Eddie Kingston can still go.
yeah,
I wouldn't go taking him out of the ring anytime soon, you know. I would have him, like, he might not have a whole ton of in-ring years left. Use him while you got him,
mm-hmm,
right? Don't make him a manager now. Make him a manager later.
yeah.
You know, because you can still use them for shit. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna tell you, like, this is November. In December, we're gonna be saying, where'd Eddie Kingston go,
Yeah,
right? Because, like, where all these other guys go.
exactly. Like Brian Cage
Well, I was
and
gonna say Brian Cage is still the FTW champion, right?
yeah.
And I heard, I think it was Tony Khan himself, but somebody like pretty high up, maybe it was like Tony Khan or maybe it was Taz, somebody pretty high up in that company involved with this nonsense, said that it wasn't just a silly flash in the pan gimmick bringing the FTW championship back. There was a reason for it. It was all going to be explained relatively soon. All right.
Yeah,
What? He's just now the champion, and he's just the champion. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just walking around with his belt and nothing's happening. Who cares? They
exactly.
didn't they didn't do the bit where they explain why we should give a shit, and they said they were going to, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give it any reason. Just because Taz had it once, what the fuck, man? You know,
Yeah.
Taz also had a broken neck once. I wouldn't give that to Brian Cage. Let's get smart here. Like, what the fuck? Um, guys like that, guys like Lance Archer, he should be fucking squashing people left and right.
Yeah.
But they're not. He's in there having competitive matches with people like Joey Janela and fucking whoever, Wingley Dingle, who you don't see ever. You only see him in fucking Dark. And then one time he comes up to the main show and he goes 20 minutes with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. It's silly. Don't you think it's silly?
Yeah, it's baffling is what I'd say. Like, I don't really understand what the goal is here if you go in that route.
But with so many people. What happened to Matt Sydal?
Yeah, he basically disappeared for ages, and then he had a match with Eddie Kingston on last week's Dynamite, where it was essentially a squash match, and he didn't get to show his stuff or anything really. So yeah, it was just like, well, great, another guy who's come in who's supposed to be a big deal, who's just been pushed to the wayside.
What's Rusev doing?
Oh, fucking him and what's his name? Kip Sabian feuding with the best friends because their video game arcade machine got destroyed during a best friends match. Yeah.
I want to talk about something really quick, and I don't know if I'll keep this in the show or I'll cut it out, but I want to ask you this seriously, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever Miro left the WWE, he told a story about the WWE, about a tag team match that him and Aiden English were in. And he said that the WWE didn't like Aiden English. And his reasoning behind that was because they were in a tag match and somebody suggested Aiden do something. And he was told not to do that by the producers.
Right.
And Rusev was like, well, that's crazy. He should be able to show what he can do, right?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
It depends on what he was gonna do, but I mean, like, everyone's got their role to play, don't they? So I guess in their tag team, Aiden English wasn't really Rusev's equal at all. He was kind of his dog's body, there to take the pin and stuff. So
you understand, you get it.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that the WWE hate Aiden English, so that's why they put him on TV in two different tag teams and had him as a commentator?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? What are you, an idiot? Like, he was there, and he thinks they hate him. They probably told him not to do a moonsault spot because he's not supposed to do that. The whole point of the Aiden English Rusev feud was to make Rusev look good.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't to put Aiden English over, because we've talked about this. Everybody has a role, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aiden English wasn't supposed to take all the shine away from Rusev, because Rusev was the one that was supposed to get over. And yet, Rusev himself is going to be one of those people that says, they didn't push me right, yada yada. They weren't doing what they could. He wasn't listening.
Yeah, essentially.
And everybody said, yeah, the WWE isn't using Rusev properly. And they probably didn't. But that guy wasn't listening.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
now,
yeah.
I think that the WWE in that instance just said that Aiden English couldn't do this because he wasn't supposed to be the one doing that. And that's the difference. There's somebody to tell him no. In All Elite Wrestling, you can do whatever you want. So nobody ever gets over because they're all to see him. And Rusev can do whatever he wants. And what he wants to do is just turn up dressed in his fucking street clothes, playing video games, right?
Yeah.
And that works perfectly when you stream your video games on Twitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work when you're a wrestler.
No, not if he's got any ambitions of, being a main eventer and going on to win world titles and stuff. Definitely not.
Let me say this real quick. Remember how everybody makes fun of like people like the Goon?
Yeah.
Or like people, the Mountie, people who had jobs, people who weren't wrestlers, right?
Don't take the piss out of the Mountie. He's my favorite wrestler.
Listen, man. Me and Bryce did a fucking show where he talked about the Monty coming up with his own signature wrestling match, and it was so funny. So I got a soft spot for the Monty. But like all these guys who had jobs, right? Fucking Repo Man, etc. Right? And everybody's like, wasn't that stupid that these guys have gimmicks that aren't related to wrestling?
Yeah.
Rusev's gimmick is he plays video games. Right?
Yeah.
Why does nobody pay attention to us?
Oh, dear.
Why doesn't anybody listen? Anyway, dude, I think we've talked about this shit for long enough.
Yeah, definitely.
Thunder Rosa, if you're listening, we still love you. Can you go on All Elite Wrestling and be in every match, please? Because we'll watch it. We'll watch that, you know?
Definitely.
I don't know if I'm going to watch this show. I'll tell you what. We'll see what happens by next week. You know? If there's anything good to check out in that show, I might give it a watch. Otherwise, you know, I've kind of burnt my bridges with All Elite Wrestling, I think. But John's going to let me know if he sees anything good.
Yeah, I'm sure Omega Hangman Page will be pretty damn good. But, you know, I'm hopeful Moxley Kingston in an I Quit match as well. Like
yeah.
You know, that's right up their alley. So fingers crossed that'll be really good as well. But, you know.
If I may sidebar for one more second, and I do apologize, but last time they had a show, the two good matches were Thunder Rosa versus Hikaru Shida. And Jon Moxley versus MJF.
Yep.
So, and the rest of the show was not good.
No.
So, you know, if we point out two of these matches that we hope is going to be good, you know, I would much prefer it to be 6 or 7 out of 7 are good matches instead of 2. But like I said, dude, we're gonna see. We'll see what happens, you know.
Yes.
So All Elite Wrestling, guys, I hope you're listening. You know, you can take our ideas on board for free. Just make the show better, please.
Yeah.
That's all we want. We just want a good show. That's all we want. Is we want to be actual, like, legitimate alternatives to the WWE. Please.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. And also, Thunder Rosa, you're still really cool. And that's everything. That's all we want. You got anything else you want to say?
No, just you know, I'll definitely be checking the show out and hoping for the best, but I will also be preparing for the worst as well.
Don't let us down, All Elite Wrestling, please. We need. I have a feeling we're gonna need some good news this week.
Yeah.
So please keep us entertained. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening, guys. Let us know what you think about All Elite Wrestling and the show. High Revolution. What's the actual name? I forgot what the actual name was.
It's Full Gear.
High Revolution is so much better.
I know. What does Full Gear mean?
Right. What the fuck? I don't know. Well, anyway. Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one. So take it easy, you ball bags.